Okay. So welcome back. I hope you had some nice chats this morning during the matchmaking session, and also good lunch, and that you enjoyed it. As I announced in the morning, we are going to start our afternoon with the Copernicus Masters International Kickoff of the 2022 edition. And as it is a hybrid event, we are going to live stream it. So I would also like to welcome our virtual audience somewhere out there listening to what our speakers will have to tell, what our prize winners have to tell us, and also what our prize partners have for you today. The Copernicus Masters itself, as it has been said already this morning by Simon, is a competition initiated by ESA, and it exists since 11 years. And Simon mentioned quite a good track record of the competition, and I'm quickly going to the slide, but not going into detail. As Simon mentioned already, we had quite a few submissions to the competition in the past few years, and also quite a huge stakeholder network. What is interesting enough is that all our partners that we had in the time frame of these 11 years come up with a prize pool of 6.2 million euros in total. And this includes cash prizes and in-kind prizes. And the partners of this year's competition that you're going to see now will today present to you the challenge topics of the 2022 edition. So each of the challenge partners that are on top, so this would be ESA, with 2 challenges we heard already, the DLR, Biva, Up42 together with Airbus, the BMDV, and Portugal Space. So these are our topic challenges. And next to this, we also offer additional regional prizes. These regional prizes are sponsored by our regional stakeholder network, which is actually global. So you might see on the slide with there are a lot of flags actually. And behind all of these flags, there is a partner behind. And this partner can actually support you locally. So depending on where you're from, usually participants then decide to apply to the regional country where they are coming from. But obviously, you can also apply from outside of these participating countries and region, because specifically this region want to explore opportunities to work together with participants from outside of their own country and establish communications with people or innovators and entrepreneurs from anywhere in the world. What is the most important for you to know now is obviously how do you participate and when do you participate. So this is our timeline of the competition. The Copernicus Masters started on 11th of April already, and this is our kickoff now. You have, if you're a participant, 3 months time to submit your innovative idea to the competition. We have an online secure database where you can enter your solution and then finally click the submit button to participate in the race for the Copernicus Master. And hopefully stand on stage like Tyler and Sebastian this morning as the overall winner of the competition. As I said, it's running for 3 months, so the deadline for submissions is the 11th of July. After that, our partners will go into a round of evaluation. So they will look into each of your solutions that have been submitted and choose their winner. Ideally, obviously, as Simon also mentioned, the work together with not only the winners, but also the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place might be a possibility. Therefore, I would definitely like to encourage all of you to participate. Even if you're not becoming a winner, you still have the chance to work with our partner network and profit from it, and be maybe here at the event and see how things are going. After the evaluation phase, so when we have chosen our winners for the 2022 edition, we are preparing our huge gala event, which is called the Space Awards. So this is an event where the winners will be highlighted, and usually it takes place at the end of the year. So hoping that there are some winners amongst us here and also obviously virtually. I do hope to see some of you then at the next event, hopefully still again in physical appearance at the end of this year. How do you participate? Coming back to that question, as you heard, we have challenges and we have prizes, regional prizes. So first of all, you have to choose a challenge. meaning your solution has to fit to one of the topic challenges that are on offer. Second, this is additional, so you can choose a regional prize. As it's additional, I would always recommend you choose one because it doubles your chances of winning. And then you see the second point here on the slide is, as I mentioned, the evaluation to choose the overall winner of the Copernicus Masters. So amongst all the challenge winners and the prize winners, we are going to choose him or her. And then comes the award ceremony where the overall winner will be announced. In terms of prize pool, I already mentioned that we are offering a variety of prizes, like a full flower bouquet. It's cash prizes, obviously, but it's also in-kind prizes. And by experience, I have to say that it's not the cash prizes that attract most, but it's really the in-kind support that you, as a participant, are getting. Since you get coaching from your partners, there are opportunities for investment that come up. There's a lot of marketing involved, so the network actually really helps you to grow. And therefore, I hope that you use the opportunity and join the competition and see where your next steps are leading you. And with this, I would like not to talk too much about the Copernicus Masters in general, but rather focus on what we are here for, exactly the challenge topics. So the first challenge that will be presented today, or the first two challenges that will be presented today, are coming from the European Space Agency. And I would like to ask Anna on stage to take over. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you, Ines. Since I have a pleasure to open today the part of the event that would lead to the presentation of the challenges, I wanted to also take the opportunity and on behalf of the Masters partners, thank us all for organizing this event today, and to you, Ines, for being such a great host. Before I will introduce the ESA challenges, I wanted to take a couple of minutes to also give you an update in terms of where we are at with Copernicus program. Copernicus Sentinels 1 to 6, so-called Copernicus first generation, I think it's a constellation of missions very well known to everybody here in this room. And I also think that it's very clear to everybody that this is a resounding success. We have a suite of operational missions that are being used by both value-adding industry in providing Copernicus services, but also this is data that is opening a lot of business opportunities to companies that want to build new types of products and services in Earth observation market. We are very pleased to see that the market value is continuously growing, that there is a number of new users, and there's a lot of evidence of very tangible benefits that come from this data through services. But we also see that this is where the Copernicus Masters and similar competitions really make their dent. This is where we open the doors to new ideas, to new businesses to enter this market. Today, it is estimated that over 60% of services, Earth observation services globally, is being served by this constellation. So this is mainly thanks to the fact that Sentinel data policy is on a fully free and open basis. But this is not only the downstream services that make this global impact. The Copernicus program is in fact opening opportunities also in the upstream segment. By now you are, I'm sure, very well familiar with the concept of new space. So satellites being built by startup companies, very often backed by venture capital funding that provide additional capabilities to Earth observation community worldwide. So Copernicus program really proved itself to be a cornerstone for this new space development because these companies, these new satellite missions certainly would not be able to grow so fast if not the reference data, reference data stream provided by Sentinel satellites. So as a result, the new space is emerging as a significant component of Earth observation, future of Earth observations, and I dare to say that its future will be also depending on the continuation of Copernicus program and the new satellites that will be brought online by both ESA and the European Commission. This long-term data continuity, I cannot stress the importance of this. This is also creating the right business environment where commercial operators can work and operate both in upstream and downstream segment. But this is only the beginning of a bigger story. Simon mentioned this at the beginning in his keynote speech. We are working on expanding the program, expanding the missions. Here you can see Copernicus Sentinel, so-called expansion missions that will allow the constellation to grow from 6 family missions to 12 family missions. And this is a really big step forward because we are not only introducing new types of measurements through the Sentinels, we are also responding to stated user needs. These missions will open markets in new domains. We can really talk here about both food security, infrastructure management, monitoring, or services that will allow to achieve carbon neutrality objectives that Europe has set for itself. Just to draw your example to the CO2 mission, one of the most important EU contributions to climate mitigation strategies, missions such as LSTM and ROSEL will provide the capabilities for better management of water resources. We are also not stopping here. We are already thinking internally about the Copernicus next generation, so the missions that will replace the first, the families of Sentinels 1 to 6. These missions are right now in their design phase. The design is not finished. However, the overall objective is to enhance the capabilities, provide, for example, better resolution, better revisit time, or introduce completely new capabilities such as multi-frequency SAR that will also allow a number of new types of AI-driven applications in the SAR domain. But not least, the point of innovating is also not to innovating alone. All these innovations in terms of providing satellite capabilities goes hand in hand, in tandem with revolution transformation that we see in other sectors, technology sectors, in particular digital sectors. We have not only now our Sentinel data streams available to everybody, we also have the significant improvement in ICT capabilities, cloud computing capabilities, a number of toolboxes, AI frameworks, and machine learning frameworks that allow much better exploitation of this data, including through initiatives or infrastructure such as DIAS. So mobilizing this data revolution is actually crucial for the next generation of EO services. And this is where we can go from here to build next generation EO. This next generation EO will be characterized by both access to new types of Earth observation missions, such as Copernicus 2.0, so extended Copernicus, but also new commercial missions, both from existing commercial operators, but also the operators that will be coming online and materializing its concepts for CubeSat, SmallSat, and different types of constellations that will be coming online. This also means innovating through fundamental EO research, which is coupled with industrial capabilities in space and non-space sectors, in particular in IT. Cross-domain thinking, high complexity, high technology risk, this is something that we will be expecting in this next EO innovation wave, as well as the applications that really leverage emerging digital technologies, which I refer here as frontier technologies, and these are artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, cloud edge computing, high-performance computing, blockchain, virtual reality, forthcoming quantum technologies, and mobile technology. So this is also where we wanted to focus our 2022 Masters challenges. The first challenge that I wanted to introduce is called Copernicus Frontier Tech, and is specifically focused on frontier technology solutions for digital Copernicus. How do we define frontier technologies? You have the list here. I won't repeat them. What we are really looking for is ideas and applications that show us that these technologies can make a difference and introduce a new type of either quality or new types of research directions or new types of products and services for digital Copernicus. And successful applicants will have identified a promising technology. It doesn't have to be fully developed. We understand we are working on the frontier of science and development to be applied to new Copernicus applications. Or developed a new unique value proposition of this one of those frontier technologies, but have not yet created a market-ready product yet. A key thing in this challenge would be to demonstrate to us that you have a right team with right skills, a combination of skills that would combine remote sensing with these technology domains. Our winner will not only take home a 10,000 euro cash prize, but will be also invited to take an opportunity to enter ESA networks, particularly our PhilLab, Explore, and Incubed offices, which are dedicated to scouting disruptive ideas and investing in industrial innovation. Our second challenge is called Space Leap. And we are really putting a lens of international cooperation here and looking for partners from countries implementing Copernicus cooperation agreements. So this is a special initiative for participants from those countries where we specifically invite not only the researchers that can demonstrate applications backed by user demand, where they can show a good understanding of Copernicus application areas, user engagement, and relevance to Copernicus international cooperation efforts. But we also look for international funders at the seed stage that could have demonstrated ideas for products commercializations and scale-up plans. In this prize pool, we envisage 3 prizes, 5,000 euro each. And one of the extra bonus or benefits of entering this prize and working towards a successful conclusion is to network both with ESA and the EUSPA. For those who don't know this acronym, this is European Union's Agency for Space Program. In the run-up of a Horizon Europe, it's a European Commission or European Union program for research and development, which will be specifically dedicated to Copernicus international partners. So with this, I wanted to conclude the introduction of the challenges and hand over to you, Ines.
Thank you very much. So I see our next speaker is already getting up. Doris Klein, she's coming from the DLR, and she will present us the DLR challenge for 2022. So DLR is also a long-term partner who has been with the Copernicus Masters since right from the start also. So I believe that you definitely can learn something from Doris and also learn something about the DLR itself. So please, Doris, your turn.
Thank you very much, Ines. Also, thank you for hosting us here. I'm happy to be at this first event where I meet physically people again, and it's very nice, but also we have to get used a bit to it. So and it's especially nice that also some of our former winners are in the audience, and I'm happy to look forward now I'm looking forward to present you DLR, and also hopefully we will have a new great winner. So our challenge is called DLR Environment, Energy and Health Challenge. So these are our topics. And I want to start, for those who don't know us so well, with the Earth Observation Center. This is where I am coming from. It is a center, a cluster with 2 institutes, the German Remote Sensing Data Center, DFD, this is my home institution, and the Remote Sensing Technology Institute. And we are forming the Earth Observation Center in Oberpfaffenhofen, so just outside Munich. Something happened with these were supposed to be points, actually, where you can find us. It seems that we expanded, but it is not the case. And also the geography is a little bit twisted. However, you know that we are where Munich are, because this is where we are right here. So a little bit southwest is Oberpfaffenhofen, and it's in red. That means that's and it was supposed to be the biggest dot, because this is where the most of the staff is located. However, we also have some departments in Berlin, Adlershof, and in Neustrelitz, where our national receiving stations are, and in Bremen. And in light blue, you were supposed to see 3 dots, which are our connections to universities, because as our directors, but as well as our department leaders, they are at the same time professors at different universities, and special links are to the University of Würzburg, Augsburg, and TU Munich. All in total, we are around 400 people working at the EOC, and around 40 more at these university groups. And we are mainly third-party funded. Our directors are Stefan Dech is the director of DFD. He's at the same time at the moment the spokesperson for the EOC. They are alternating. And the remote sensing technology is at the moment led by Peter Reinhardt and Peter Haschberger. Which are the main activities? Because this is also the background where we are coming from. We have 2 main parts. On one hand, it's the Earth observation ground segment. And for those who are not so familiar, who are listening maybe outside in the world and don't know the typical speech yet, this is everything related to the data itself, the receiving stations, the archiving, the processing. And then on the other hand, of course, we are working with this data and doing research using the EO data. And in between, you see a picture, which is an icon for our cooperation with the LRZ, which is a supercomputing center here in Munich, because, of course, the processing, the HPDA infrastructure is really important. We heard it already from ESA. High-performance computing is getting more and more important, and we also believe that it is good to cooperate in this field with professionals for scientific computing. So as I mentioned already, the ground segment, we have an international and national receiving station. So because it's favorable, we have also a station in Canada and in the Antarctic, besides the ones in Germany. And we have a huge archive and a big data processing system. And with these capabilities, we are taking part at European missions and also do some industry support. And on the other hand, our main topics within the research is global change and climate change, as well as looking at the environment ecosystems for planning and management of resources. We are looking into geohazards and humanitarian aid and civil security. And all of this to be also a neutral political advice and provide services. So we heard already very nice and saw it from ESA that we have a huge and really great Copernicus program, and I don't think that I have to say it in this audience that the continuity is really, really important for us. And at the same time, we still talk about the golden era of remote sensing because the ones who are maybe my age, they might remember as being a student, I had one single scene I could afford, which was from Landsat, and it was 800 D-marks, and I knew every pixel by name. This is not the case anymore. Here you can see an animation of real-time data, all the satellites that are surrounding our planet at the moment. It's almost 5,000 of them, and around 40% are EO satellites. So we have really a great opportunities. And as we saw already in the previous talk, we need the continuity, but we have also a lot of commercial and new data, and the combination of these data and the internet data reveal a great possibilities. Global change is one of our main tasks, and this is one of the typical products from DLR. It's the World Settlement Footprint, where we used the data, firstly the TerraSAR-X, Tandem-X data, so the DLR radar mission, but nowadays, of course, Copernicus data, it's the Sentinel-1 and 2 to derive the settlements. And why do we do this? Because here you can see the year 1985, of course, in those times with Landsat. Mapped is the area around Shanghai, and in white you see the settled areas. In black there is no settlement, no buildings at all. This is 1990, 95, 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015. So this is just to give you one glimpse of one area, how the population is expanding, how urbanization is taking place. Around 50% of the people live in urban areas right now. And in the last 2 years, I don't have to mention it, you all remember the lockdowns we had. You see here a data set of NO2, air quality, nitrogen dioxide, derived by Sentinel-5P for February 2019, Southeast Asia, and February 2020. And the same image is, the same process can be observed for Europe, of course, March, April 2019, so a little bit later, March, April 2020. So you very clearly can see the effect of the lockdown, because nitrogen dioxide is an air quality indicator, especially for combustion processes. So you would see the areas where there is a lot of industry and a lot of mobility, a lot of traffic, and this was closed down. So again, something we can very nicely observe by remote sensing. And the final example I want to show is that it's not only the wide world, but at the same time, now also climate change really arrived in Germany, where you can really see it with your own eyes when you drive along the Autobahn, for example, that you see all these trees that were cut down due to the huge droughts we had during the last years. So what we did was we took the Sentinel-2 images of the last 3 years, from 2018 till April 2022. And this is one of the areas in Germany, a forested area. And here you see 2021, April, compared to June 2019. And then we mapped all the areas that had to be cut down because the woods were drying. And of course, you can then aggregate this to administrative levels to provide information. So why am I showing this? This is just to give you an idea about the motivation. We have a huge increase in population worldwide, and it's not only about population increase, but it's also about livelihood, about a good livelihood, about climate change. We see that we have an urbanization taking place. We need food production, and with in times like this, where you have war, there is again a huge discussion how food production worldwide will be impacted. We have the topic of energy. Like, this is just an iconic image to show you the palm oil plantations, which have really ambiguous impacts, and of course you have the impact on the environment. So what we are now looking for within the Copernicus Masters is innovative solutions we want to see based on Earth observation, on Copernicus, of course, but also on additional data to support sustainable management of our limited natural resources and to foster the human well-being. And we are looking at these three, especially at these three topics: the environment, the resource management, and the health promotion. And here within these topics, you are free to think about whatever you like. The things we were thinking of was, but of course this is not limited, because you might have even better ideas, was, for example, identifying environmental issues and managing the resources, or monitoring and improving the use of natural resources, but also generating, distributing, or the consumption of energy. And of course, the health promotion means identifying, monitoring, providing solutions for environmental factors affecting human health. And The prize is a 5,000 cash prize, and of course we would promote the winners and would cooperate with them where possible. And just the last 3 slides, I want to just show you our last 3 winners, because the last 2 awards were only virtual, and I'm especially happy that I can meet now also our winners in person here. So these were the last year's winner from 2021. It's a group of, at that time, students from the University of Würzburg, from the master's program, now not anymore, I think they have finished, some of them at least, the master's program of applied remote sensing, EAGLE it is called. It's an international studies, and we have here Nils Karges, Sofia Garcia, Andreas Buri, Annika Ludwig, and Antonio Castaneda. So you hear already by the names, it's an international team, and they proposed to provide especially data on a high-resolution data for cities on temperature and also on air quality and other parameters for city planning, but also for people who might be at risk concerning the climate change, so if it's getting hotter, because we are getting more and more hot summers. And the previous winner was Paulina Raeva and her team from Bulgaria, and they won with the idea to do a monitoring of water in reservoirs in order to inform not only the public, but also to inform also the authorities and provide data. And last, I want to just as an imagine yourself where you might be in 3 years. This is our winner from 2019, and they will present later on. It's the team of Ajuma, Julian Meyer-Arneck and Annette Barth, and they won with the ID Ajuma. And nowadays, actually just last week, they were in one of the famous shows in Germany. It's called The Lion's Den, where you meet some investors. And actually their product, Ajuma, it's a small tool which is recording the UV radiation in order to alarm the people if they are for too long in the sun, or if they don't have enough UV radiation to provide vitamin D. You can buy actually this little tool in pharmacies and in online shops and also in outdoor shops. So get inspired by them and please apply with new ideas. I'm looking forward to see you at the gala. And with this, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doris. So we heard already that also food security is a topic that is addressed all over the place, and a big issue for all of us at the moment. And we have one company that is coming from the agricultural field. This is the Biva, and I would like to ask Lena Bruggemann on stage. She is working for Vista, but representing the Biva Challenge today. And happy to have you, Lena.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ines. So, okay, welcome to the next challenge, the Biva Smart Farming Challenge. My name is Lena Bruggemann, and I am myself from the area of remote sensing. I'm working with satellite data every day. We are based here in Munich, and we are one of the affiliates of the Biva group. But your contact actually in the future, again, for the Copernicus Masters and for our challenge, is Elisabeth Becker, which is on parental leave, and I'm representing her here at the event. And she will be back after the end of the submission phase. She will collect all the submissions and will be responsible again for the evaluation and thus for the decisive phase of the challenge. And that's why I put her as the main contact here on this slide. Then some facts and figures on the Biva group. The Biva was founded in Munich in 1923. It's a leading trading and services group. The corporate culture is based on cooperative roots. And the core segments are agriculture, that's why we are especially here for, energy and also building materials. The Biva has approximately 21,500 employees. It's represented in about 50 countries, very international, and has worldwide 441 affiliated companies. And it's also a stock-listed company. Then the main part, the challenge. As we have already heard, the global population continues to grow every year. Also, the demand for agricultural products is growing, of course. So to continue feeding the world without damaging the environment is one of the greatest challenges faced by society. That has been a topic of the last presentation as well. And it can only be achieved by increasing the efficiency and the sustainability of the agricultural production. Now, the Biva invites submissions that look to tackle this challenge by combining satellite data with other data sources in an innovative and commercially viable way. So, what we are particularly interested in, that are new ideas that combine satellite data and artificial intelligence, or machine learning. And then also, Biva's looking for new ideas that support following application fields, especially like pasture management, early crop disease identification in agriculture and horticulture, or yield prediction horticulture. That's just some of the topics that we're interested in because there's not too much on the market yet, or there might be new technologies that could be interesting for us. But if you have any other smart farming idea that doesn't fit into these fields of application, so no worries at all, please enter it as well. So for us, everyone is welcome. Doesn't matter, universities, individuals, companies. The only thing that's really important is the idea. And what we expect is innovation in the field of agriculture using satellite data and providing added value for the agricultural industry. Some facts on the prize pool. It's not very different from the other challenges, so the €5,000 cash prize. Then a mentoring package from Biva, Farm Facts, which is an IT system house developing software solutions for agricultural industry, and Vista, remote sensing and geosciences. We provide access to Biva sales platforms and customers through Next Farming platform. Access to Biva agribusiness and agri-organization networks, access to field trails, if possible, in multiple countries. And just as an example for our last year's winner, who is one of the representatives also here, Adrien, is Tenchi Chin, a Japanese company, which is AI-powered mapping of land crop matching. You will learn more about Tenchi Chin in its pitch later on also. And then I don't want to tell too much about it, but it's a company with a high potential for the agribusiness. And currently we, or rather Biva and some of its affiliates, are meeting regularly to set up a joint project to evaluate further possibilities for a collaboration. And this is usually the process that we go through with all our winners after the award ceremony. So with that, you've got all the most important information, and I invite everyone with a good idea to participate at the competition and enter the submission. So, a lot of success and thanks very much.
Thank you, Lena. Thanks a lot, Lena. The next one on stage is a challenge that is a joint one. So a connection between Airbus and UP42 has been created already in the past year. And I would like to call Viviana on stage. She's already coming in through to tell us a little bit more about what UP42 is looking for in their challenge in this year specifically. Welcome, Viviana.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here today. My name is Viviana, I represent UP42, and I would like to introduce you to the challenge for this year together with Airbus. The challenge is sustainable urban planning. And I would like to start with a quote that inspires me a lot, and it's one of my favorites from my favorite philosopher, Nietzsche. He who has a why to live for can bear almost anything. When I think about this quote, I really think about resilience, and this is sustainability for me, and it is also for our company. But before we start to delve into the why we do things in a certain way at Up42, I would like to introduce you to how we do things and what kind of problems we're trying to solve. Up42 was born, is a subsidiary of Airbus, born in 2019. It's a geospatial developer platform and marketplace to derive insights at scale. And we exist to solve some very specific problems in the industry that are connected to technical and commercial constraints, to accessing and using geospatial data that are blocking the downstream potential of AI-driven Earth observation. The first problem is that the data ecosystem is fragmented. We have providers focusing on large customers, and the access to this data is sometimes varied depending on the provider, and there are still commercial and contractual barriers that block the access to this data. It's very hard to build and distribute algorithms. AI, of course, is the solution to take full advantage of this, but it's very costly to train, and most of the time the solution is a lock-in solution or it's just about re-implementing proven algorithms. And lastly, it's very hard to scale efficiently. It's very difficult to scale UI-driven solution. The API approach is not mature yet in the industry, and it's, again, very expensive to build and maintain scalability at this level. So what Up42 is trying to do is trying to solve these issues in several ways. It offers an open marketplace of geospatial and algorithms. We're talking about over 175 data and algorithms that can be accessed with a pay-per-use pricing. Actually, you can try the platform with free credits at the beginning. And it's based on a reseller revenue share model, business model. It has a simple UI for discovery and rapid prototyping. That means that you can easily find and access data, you can build processes, pipelines, run machine learning on scale, and there is no code required. It's based on a workflow engine and scalable infrastructure. That means you have data and algorithms that are compatible. It relies on scalable cloud infrastructure, and you can bring your own algorithms. And lastly, it's a powerful platform of APIs and SDKs. So we are API first, and we are an API-driven platform where it's easy to integrate and scale your solutions. We rely on open sources, Python SDK, and open sources integrated examples. So what we're really trying to do with all this, we're trying to bring a paradigm shift in the industry, where the way you access data and analyze it is changing. We're lowering the technical and commercial barriers and democratizing access to geospatial data and analytics for the benefit of all. We believe that anyone on Earth should be able to access data. And this is very connected to our purpose and to our why. Last year, Cloudless EO was a solution that won the Copernicus Masters, and I'm actually happy to meet the winners finally in person here today. This solution was developed by TetaSpace, and it was about leveraging some very specific algorithms called generative adversarial networks algorithms through the Up42 platform. And the idea was to remove clouds from optical satellite imagery. From a technical standpoint, this is a very interesting solution, but it becomes even more important when you think of the applications of this solution. Imagine if you have to plan for a faster intervention in disaster management in flooded areas or in areas in the equators that are subject to unsteady weather. So this is very close to what we do. And what we believe in, which is making a significant impact on society and the future of our planet. This is our purpose as a company. The challenge this year is sustainable urban planning. Why sustainable urban planning? In the Industrial Revolution between the 19th and the 20th centuries, we know that there has been an exodus from rural areas towards cities for work purposes. But in the post-war eras, most of the cities have been transformed and have been subjected to rapid demands of reconstruction that has left behind other types of values about livability, about sustainability within the cities. Bad choices in building materials, lost green areas, lost opportunities for socialization. So there has been a new trend, especially in the United States, where there has been, it's called new urbanism, where suburbs that sprawl from the historic city centers are now rethinking, and urban planners are now rethinking, maybe we should go back and retrieve what we had in historic cities in Europe. What can be inspired, how can traditional urbanism inspire better choices? There are several programs at a European level that are looking at more sustainable ways for urban planning to help decision makers make better decisions. Unfortunately, based on recent studies, only 12% of these plans include remote sensing and integrate remote sensing, ecology, and planning in the same project. And only 24% of these studies focus on one particular domain. So there is really a challenge of recognizing remote sensing as an opportunity to add qualitative analysis to the traditional quantitative analysis to the traditional qualitative analysis that happens in urban planning to rethink communities and reach sustainable goals, especially number 11, sustainable cities and communities. And this is where our challenge comes into place. The UP42 Airbus challenge about sustainable urban planning is about leveraging, we're actually calling on developers, researchers, companies to leverage remote sensing to help urban planners make better decisions using quantitative analysis, especially in quantifying the impact that the reconstruction in the post-war era has had on the urban landscape. An example of this could be about quantifying the impact of wasted spaces that could be repurposed as green areas or residential areas, or quantifying the impact of an increasing number of structures on renewable resources. We're talking about land, water, and land and water. So how are we really solving this challenge at UP42? To analyze and to quantify the impact that derive from this expansion from historic cities toward the suburbs, you really need to have a diversity of data that the platform offers. You can't have a one-size-fits-all set of data. You can order data at scale, which is what the platform actually allows you to do, and you can bring your own algorithms. And this is why we encourage developers particularly to make the most of the UP42 platform. The prize pool this year, like last year, is 100,000 euros worth of commercial data, which is accessible through a voucher from One Atlas that asks to access commercial satellite data from Airbus, and a voucher from UP42 to access all type of geospatial data and algorithms from the UP42 marketplace. But there is even another reward that comes with it. Just like the other presentation already mentioned, it's not just about the price, it's also about being part of a fast-growing ecosystem of AI-driven Earth observation. If the solution is interesting enough, if the winners are passionate enough about their solution and their project, there is an opportunity to become partners, an official partner at UP42, and be exposed to a multitude of customers, clients, and potential business opportunities. We are right now at more than 35,000 signups that use the platform. And of course, there is also the possibility to continue to receive support, customer support, and guidance to further expand and to further develop other EO solutions. So again, it's not just about making an impact, but it's also about making your impact count. I hope this inspires a lot of people to participate in our challenge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Viviana. Portugal is traditionally known as, a place where you find good waves and good vibes. But Portugal Space has a specific challenge in the Copernicus Masters as well, and it's called the Blue Challenge. And I'm happy to have Joan with us today to present to you the Blue Challenge, but also his involvement as a regional prize partner. Welcome, Joan.
Thank you, Ines, for the presentation, and good afternoon to everyone, both to the people that are here, and I'm actually very happy to be in this presential event, but also to the people that are attending online. So, my name is Joan Labard from the Portuguese Space Agency, and today I will be explaining a bit more about what we are doing in Portugal and at Portugal Space. And this will set the scene also for the challenge that we are putting this year, which is quite similar to the one we promoted last year, the Copernicus Blue Challenge. So to start with, I have a small video that I think it will be nice to give an overview of what we are doing in Portugal. Let's see if it works. I don't know if the sound... Just the sound... Is there any way to turn it on? Not working. Is there any way to fix it? Okay. Yeah, please.
Ja, ist drin.
This usually happens when you are live. It's
Plug it in, plug it out.
It will work. Otherwise, Otherwise, I will continue, and then we can replay it later. But basically, to put it in context, Portugal has been active in the space sector for many years. I would say that the first big step, was when we joined ESA in 2000. It's where we started developing an ecosystem. But then it was 4 years ago that the Portuguese government really wanted to promote the sector. And they issued the Portuguese space strategy for the next decade, Portugal Space 2030. And this strategy has an overreaching vision, which is for the country to become a global reference in space, climate, ocean interactions for the benefit of society. So the goal is to grow the sector, but a space sector that has to really tackle the issues that our society is facing, and where the Atlantic, of course, plays a significant role. To this end, 3 years ago, actually, in 2019, the Portuguese Space Agency was created with the goal to implement the strategy and to foster the development of the sector, and that's what we are doing. But when we talk about Portugal, and Ines already mentioned it, we think about a small country in the one side of Europe. If you can see that continental Portugal, it's quite small. But if we think about Portugal and the ocean that actually area that it occupies, and the extension of the continental shelf, which will happen somewhere in the future, Portugal actually is one of the biggest countries in Europe, but most of it's in the water. It's an Atlantic country. And we always say that Portugal, it's sea, Portugal, mar, and actually this is a bit the motto, right, of what we are doing. We're trying to focus on the oceans. So what's the motivation for our challenge? As I said, the Atlantic Ocean is a central piece, a central element of the Portuguese space strategy, so we focus on the oceans. But we are not the only country doing so. It's important to notice that many countries and regions share similar challenges and opportunities. Regions around the Atlantic, but also around the Pacific and other oceans. So actually the threats and the opportunities are similar. Then, also important here, we have ESA. We are very involved in the Blue Worlds Task Force at ESA. We are trying to develop activities, Earth observation activities related to the oceans. Also important, this year marks a huge milestone for us. We'll have the biggest ocean conference in the world, the United Nations Oceans Conference in Lisbon, where we will gather all stakeholders. And also important, especially for this competition, Portugal has just launched the Blue Fund. It's a venture capital fund to invest in blue economy startups. And this is also quite significant because it means that there's also a market here. Finally, I would like to mention that we have been fostering in the last years the development of an Atlantic constellation with other international partners. So you can see these 6 motives set a bit the scene why we are fostering this Copernicus Blue Challenge. So what's the challenge itself? What we are looking is for innovative ideas for ocean or coastal applications. Not only for the Atlantic, it can also be for other oceans, other seas. But what we are looking at is important. It's not only applications, of course, from Portugal. We are looking for applicants from all countries around the world. So it's not, of course, not limited to Portugal, not limited to Europe. Important, as many other challenge partners, it's that, of course, Copernicus is fundamental, but we will also welcome very much if you also use other satellite data, technologies or in situ data, be it satellite communications, GNSS, very high resolution imagery. We welcome the integration of different sources of data. Important also, solutions have to be innovative, but they also need to have a sound business case. We are looking both at the technical side, but also at the business side of the solutions. And finally, of course, we're talking about the oceans. The solutions that we are looking for have to be aligned a bit with the agendas of the European Union. So that's the challenge. And what's the price pool that we are offering? It's quite similar to our colleagues. We have the same cash price as last year, 10,000 euros to develop your idea. We will, of course, if you are not already incubated at ESA-PIC, we will encourage you to do so in Portugal, and then we will welcome you to different events that Portugal Space or our partners organize, such as this one, which we think it's actually a very good opportunity for you to network. Also important to mention here that Instituto Pedro Nunes will offer the winner a pre-incubation program in case you would like to do so. So now talking about the partners, it's important to mention that we are not doing this challenge alone. We have 4 partners with us, 2 of them more business related, 2 of them more on the technical side. On one side, we have Indico Capital Partners. It's a venture capital fund. It's the one actually that launched the Blue Fund, which invests in technology companies, including, of course, Earth observation companies, especially this Blue Fund related to the blue economy, so very much linked to this challenge. So they will be more in the business part, and they will evaluate the proposals from this perspective. Then we have Instituto Pedro Nunes, which is the coordinator of ESA-PIC Portugal. It's a very renowned business incubation center in Portugal with many successful startups. We have the Earth Center, which is the Atlantic International Research Center. It's an international research organization based in the Azores that has offices in 12 countries around the Atlantic. So they have actually very good networking for the winner or for the applicants. And finally, very much in technical part, IPMA, which is the National Institute of the Sea and Atmosphere. It's basically the national reference in sea and atmospheric matters. It's going to be assisting us on the technical side, and actually they are the representatives of Portugal at EUMETSAT and in CNWF. So you can see our partners are both technical and business related. And it's important that if you apply to our challenge, we will welcome the best applicants, of course, to pitch in front of this panel, including, of course, venture capital, including people that can help you network, and including more people that will evaluate your idea from the technical side. But that's not all. This year, as Ines already mentioned, and last year we did the same, we have a regional prize, just a small, short word. We have the regional prize Azores. This one, it's not only for the blue economy. This is agnostic, of course, as all regional prizes. And we will offer the winner here also the pre-incubation program from IPN. Invite you to apply to as a BIC, and of course, welcome you to be in this event next year. So that's all for us. I don't know if the video will work, otherwise.
Our technician here, so let's see if he can fix it for us. This is live situations, as always, right? Usually we would now sit in front of our laptops and wait patiently. Now we are sitting here looking at the technician and putting some pressure on him.
Start from the very beginning.
There was a sound. Now we just need the picture back.
Okay. Now, can you?
Yeah, there it is. You can click the play button.
Portugal is a country of dreamers, whose dreams never cease, of explorers who aspire to reach further. Ferdinand Magellan's circumnavigation is matched by man's arrival on the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Portugal was at the forefront of the evolution of astronomy and navigation instruments, connecting us deeper to the planet we inhabit. Today, space is what motivates us, and exploring it gives us technology that we use daily in schools, agriculture, civil protection services, and many others. Space is in our aspirations. Space is what unites us, and at the Portuguese Space Agency, we want to make Portugal an actor of change, promote space as the home we all belong to, one we must protect. The oceans, 70% of our planet Earth, are a precious resource that now, more than ever, we must take care of. The Atlantic constellation will allow us to comprehend, preserve, and enjoy the Atlantic, promoting sustainability and knowledge, bringing Portugal closer to many other nations with their roots in the sea. The digital planet supports the creation of a multi-platform of Earth observation data. Creating an ecosystem of connectivity through quantum technology will complement global growth by contributing to the development of the Atlantic and the outermost regions. We want to lead innovation using projects such as the Santa Maria Spaceport and Space Rider in Azores. We promote a scientific culture based on technology, research and development among young people. In 2020, we challenged university students to launch rockets in Portugal in the first European competition of its kind, the European Rocketry Challenge, EUROC, a competition with a future in Europe and the world. Since 2000, we have participated in missions of the European Space Agency, where we are increasingly present. Our contribution involves the sustainability of space operations, the cleaning up of our planet and of space, the knowledge of the universe we live in. There are several Portuguese involved in these missions. With our eyes set on space, we contribute to the country's development, creating jobs and strengthening diplomatic ties. As explorers, we have new goals. By exploring other galaxies, we try to reach the sun. This is only the beginning. Our work and commitment will not stop. On the contrary, Portugal Space wants to reduce the space between us for the benefit of all. We create bridges, promote scientific research, innovation, technological advances. We unite sectors. We bring worlds closer together. We recover the spirit of the explorers, sharpen curiosity and the impetus to go beyond. We make space your space, our space, in a shared dream.
Thank you very much.
I definitely didn't want to miss that video. It was really great and very inspiring, especially since I've seen a few pictures from the Azores. So I've just in March been at a conference on the Azores, and I really have to say, if you haven't been there, go there. It's so beautiful. But no, let's go back to the topic of today's event or today's afternoon session. Obviously, there's still one last challenge that we want to learn about more, which is the challenge of the BMDV. So I would like to ask Alexandra Förster on stage to give her presentation and tell us a little bit more about what the BMDV is focusing on in their challenge in this year. Welcome, Alexandra.
Hello. Yeah, thank you, Ines, and thank you for the perfect organization of today's kickoff. Where do I start? Okay. Yeah, so my name is Alexandra Förster. I am from the German Space Agency at DLR. And I would like to present the Digital Transport and Mobility Challenge here today. Transport is a key sector of society, and as our mobility and thus our ability to get around continues to increase, transport systems face major challenges today, including congestion, oil dependency, safety, emissions, and quality and maintenance of infrastructure. And this is the reason why, we are looking for solutions to make transport and mobility more future-proof, intelligent, and of course, sustainable. And we believe that Earth observation data is a booster in the development of new transport applications. So I would like to show you two examples. With satellite data, we can monitor even small movements in infrastructure. And here you see Berlin main station, and the building deforms vertically by up to 1.5 centimeter and horizontally by between 1.5 and 3.5 centimeters. And the reason for this is when it's cold, when it's hot, the building expands, and when it's cold, it contracts again. In the next image, you see the significant impact maritime traffic has on air quality. So in the image, you see the average value of nitrogen dioxide detected between January and July 2020. And you clearly see the highway. I have nothing to show now, but you clearly see the highway the vessels use because of the high amount of nitrogen dioxide in the atmosphere. And the same is true for the areas around the ports, which appear red in the image. So these are just two examples of a lot of examples where Earth observation data can make a difference. So coming now to us, who are we? The challenge has been issued by the Federal Ministry for Digital and Transport, and the ministry addresses issues related to transport and mobility, to digital matters and spatial development in Germany, and, which is really important, the ministry is responsible for the implementation of Copernicus in Germany. On behalf of the federal government, the German Space Agency designs and implements Germany's space program, including all space activities on the national and international level. In the context of Copernicus, we are funding projects focusing on the development of Earth observation methods, applications, and technologies. We are conducting workshops and conferences to advertise and inform on the value of Copernicus. We are a partner of the Copernicus Masters. We are a Copernicus Relay member, And we have established a national Copernicus data exploitation infrastructure, which is called Code.de. And from Code.de, you have access to all Copernicus data. So you will profit from both our networks and our experience. So coming to the end, we are really looking forward to your ideas and to your solutions. And we think that together we can make transport and mobility more intelligent and more future-proof and more sustainable. So for more information to our challenge, please visit our Copernicus Masters website. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. So this was the last. Thanks again. Now the microphone is on and everybody hears me again. That was the last challenge that we are having in the Copernicus Masters 2022 with a specific topic. Now we are heading into our panel discussion with some of our regional prize partners. So the first regional prize partner that I would like to come on stage is Martijn Lijnweber. He's representing the Netherlands. And so please introduce us your Netherlands prize and the partners that you're working there with, and then feel free to take a seat on stage, Martijn, and just stay for the next presentation. And after we have heard from our 3 regional prize partners, you're obviously free to ask them anything you like and that you want to know about their prize or the opportunities that you have in their specific region. Welcome, Martijn.
Okay. Thank you, Ines. It feels great to be here, despite we have King's Day in the Netherlands, so normally it will be celebration. But I'm here now to celebrate again the participation of the Netherlands in the Copernicus Masters. It's being organized and hosted by the Netherlands Space Office, and on behalf of the Netherlands Space Office, we as SBIC Noordwijk are the one who are trying to promote the competition, also to make sure that everything goes into the good direction. So my name is Martijn Lijnweber, the CEO of SBIC Noordwijk, and we inspire and support space business-related startups. We do this via competitions and hackathons, and we manage several programs. We manage, among others, the incubation program from the European Space Agency in Noordwijk. This is the building we're located. We're on the NL Space Campus, next to ESA ESTEC. And so that's why the Copernicus Masters for us is, of course, very important and relevant, but also for the participants, because it's a very great idea competition, and we are there also to support the winners to go into the next stage. And we do this by offering the cash prize. I think Ines you already mentioned it. It's a nice thing, but it's not the most important part for the participants. The most important part for the participants is the fact that they get further support with the idea. So for us, they're getting a ticket in our pre-incubation program, which we indeed help them with, providing them with some experts, some trainings. We connect them and helping them to shape their idea, to validate it better, and to get more knowledge around it. Also to prepare it maybe for the SBIC Noordwijk. They're also being part of our community, so they're getting an office space in the building you just saw. That's really to help them to develop them further. Some of the things, just as the Netherlands prize, I think we're almost there from the start part. As you see, of course, next to the Netherlands prize winners, we also were very proud of the fact that we have several Dutch winners among the partner prizes. Some of them also the overall winners. I think we're 3 times even the overall winners. So the quality from the Netherlands is indeed, I'm proud of that. And I'm also very happy to say that we don't do this alone. We have a lot of partners from helping us, and these are not only the partners not from the space scene, but also people around it, so really around the business. And that's it. So, yeah.
It's my time, please. Take a seat. So the Netherlands ideas are the best, it seems. Well, let's see if this stays true for 2022 as well. The next one that I virtually welcome on stage is our colleague from Japan. So we have a prize partner, a regional prize partner coming from Japan, and the company is called Digital Blast. And I hope that we have him here already now. So let's see if we can get a picture of Hiro on our screen. Yes, Hiro, do you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. And I'm really sorry that I cannot be in your place, but thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much that you are here. I know that it's very, very late in Japan at the moment, so specifically a special thanks therefore as well. I would also like to give you the floor to present Digital Blast as a company, and obviously then you take your virtual seat here on stage with our regional prize partners. So yes, please feel free to share your screen, and then whenever you are ready, start your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Hironobu Inaki of Digital Blast, which is a space business consulting company in Japan. I appreciate if you let me introduce Copernicus Masters Japan Prize and our company. So I believe Japan Prize is our first Copernicus Masters outside of Europe. And last year, for the first time, we had this event. And at that time, our company was very small, so we did not have a large amount of promotion cost. But we could get 14 proposals from Japanese individuals and Japanese companies, and even outside of Japan. So this fact implies that Copernicus Masters is very popular, even in Japan and even outside of Europe. So, and this year, our company becomes somewhat big. So, our board members and I decided to hold Copernicus Masters Japan Prize 2022 as well. So, our rewards 2022 are mainly composed of 4 components: cash prize, networking opportunity, mentoring, and space awards. And as I said before, we are a space business consulting company. So our main support is networking opportunity and mentoring. Last year, the winner was SU. So the solution called SU, which provides the information about to what degree this business is good or not, based on threat data. So, and we are now supporting them to get fund and to develop a business model. So, I would like to introduce our company in detail. So, Digital Blast is a space business consulting company founded 4 years ago. And our mission is make space valuable. So, the background of this mission is that the Japanese space industry has increased startups recent years, but they are now facing the monetization or develop sustainable business, because Japanese space market is mainly composed of the government demand. And this year, the government decided to increase their budget, but still small compared to US and Europe. Therefore, we would like to be a bridge, and we would like to support the clients to launch and nurture their space business into abroad. And we think the connection with Japanese companies and European companies is very important. So through our knowledge and expertise, we would like to support and to contribute to the future collaboration between Japan and EU. And our current service is here, so strategy consulting, 3P consulting, and DX consulting, but we would like to be a more business company. And the challenge of space business is visualization and utilization of space data. So we will develop with media, YouTube channel, and data platform in the future. And we would like to, so that's all of my introduction about Japan Prize and Digital Blast. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Hiro. I would also like to mention on that note that there is the winner of the Japan Prize who actually came here to Munich today, so Takeo in front row. And he actually brought something with him, and I would like for you to know that this is specifically, I guess, designed for the audience that is here in the Künstlerhaus. So he brought like a huge balloon which reflects the earth, and he would like to go through to all of you in the break and ask you to sign the ball, so to bring it back to Japan and have something as a souvenir from here. So just that you know, he will approach you during the break.
Okay, looking forward to the ball. Yeah.
To receive the ball when when he's back in Japan, right? Okay, so then let's invite our third regional prize partner up on stage, which is Thomas Geist. He's representing Austria, and we'll give a quick introduction about Austria, the FFG, and what you're offering this year.
Yes, thank you very much, Ines. And good afternoon to everyone here in the room and also out on the screens. For me, it's the first big event since some time now, and I'm very happy to be here and that it could take place as it does today. And it's even better that it's in Munich, because that's my hometown, and it's always a pleasure to come back here, of course. Yes, I will introduce first my organization. I don't have a slide now. I will have one slide later. I'm representing FFG, which stands for Österreichische Forschungsförderungsgesellschaft, a very long name. In English, it's an Austrian Research Promotion Agency, and that's the most important funding agency for innovation in Austria on the federal level. And we tell ourselves often as a one-stop shop, offering a variety of services and of instruments for funding and for strengthening innovation in Austria. Within this bigger agency, there is a small agency embedded. That's the Aeronautics and Space Agency. That's a place where I'm located. And we are basically the Austrian Space Agency, and our main task is to connect the Austrian companies and the Austrian scientists and research institutions in space with the international and the European programs. We have also a national R&D program which we could use and which is running now since 20 years, with calls every year. And what we see in the last years, since maybe 5 or 6 years, there's a big increase in applications for projects which are using data, and that's, of course, we call it the Copernicus Effect, the free and open data with Copernicus, which really people are taking up. Okay, and with one sentence, I could say we are implementing the Austrian space strategy, and that's one slide I just have. I just pushed the bottom. That's the Austrian Space Agency. We are also a small country like Portugal, so it's probably not common to have a space strategy. We had already one in 2012, but it was renewed last year after a very, I would say, detailed and thorough consultation process with stakeholders. Here you see the German title. The English title would be People, Climate, Economy, Spaces for Everyone. And we will go for 6 distinct targets. You can see here. First one is sustainable development on Earth and in science and in space. The second one is a competitive space sector with a high degree of value-added and sustainable jobs. Third one, scientific excellence in space and Earth research. The fourth one, and that's for me as an Earth observation expert, the most important, space for all areas of life. Then we try to, strengthen talent and diversity for space, and we want to start a public dialogue in space, which is quite new, which we didn't do before. Space for all areas of life, that means that we really want that the data from the space infrastructures like Galileo and Copernicus are really used broadly, and here we will set a couple of measures for the next years. And the Copernicus Masters is exactly here located at this target. Our price we will offer this year, that's basically a cash price. It's a 4,000 euro cash price, which is quite high. I think for a regional partner, it's close to the challenge partners. And we will also go for optional, or we will offer 2 optional prizes worth 1,000 euro for ideas which were not winning the competition, but which show a certain value for Austria and its citizens. So that's up to the evaluation board to award this prize. It's an option. And next to the prizes, of course, we will offer the whole portfolio of FFG we have with all the instruments we have for support funding companies or startups. And we will also offer our network we have in Austria and beyond Austria, in Europe and beyond Europe. So that's my introduction.
Please take a seat. I will give you the microphone and take a seat next to you. And I hope that Hiro is still with us for the Q&A session. Yes, perfect. So I will start with the first question because, Matthias, Thomas, you mentioned that actually the second and the third place, the prizes that are optional, are connected to the values of the Austrian citizens and how to improve their lives in Austria. Can participants from outside of Austria also participate in the Austrian competition? Or what is your...
Yes, of course. Is it on?
Yes, it's on. You just have to hold it a little bit closer.
Yes, of course. It's, of course, open to everyone, like in the last years. For us, it's a third year that we are partner in the Copernicus Masters, and we see applications from all over the place, also from outside Europe. But of course, for these optional prizes, you should show an interest in what happens in Austria. That's the idea behind. So you don't have to be an Austrian startup or team for coming in, but you should show some interest in what happens there, the specificities in Austria. And if you do that, then you can be from everywhere, and you could have this optional prize, of course.
Thank you, Thomas. Martijn, you said that you pointed out that you had several winners in the past year that also became overall winners. So what's the secret? What do the other prize partners have to do to get so many applications?
It's a very good question. Maybe it inspires the fact that indeed we had some previous winners, but in the Netherlands, I think one of the strategies, Earth observation data, is really important and was already promoted from the beginning. So in that sense, that innovation might already be there. Every time we also trying to reach out, try to inspire, hosting webinars. Sometimes we're getting a lot of applications, and then it seems there are some winners, additional winners to it. So
I see. Is it also the partners, the local partners that you're working with? Because there are also quite a few joining, and the prices that you're offering are also quite rich. Did you press the button?
Does it work now? Yeah. Okay. We of course with the partners we always also try to search which are benefit for the competition, for the participants. So the partners they're participating because they believe also that this is from added value for them. So they are also playing a role in the promotion part of it. In terms of the prize package, I think we're not the only one. I think you see everyone trying to offer a follow-up package, because it should be a little bit of a pity when we getting so many great ideas and then it stops. So I think it's very good to see that everyone is trying to, and now the next stage.
Yes, to definitely work with them even after they have won or even participated. Hiro, it's the second time, as you said, that you are joining as a regional prize partner in the Copernicus Masters. Can you tell us a little bit how your experience was in the past year, also with Takio being your winner, and how you're working with your winners in Japan specifically?
Hiro?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So last year, this is the first experience for us, and yeah, it is difficult to search good companies, but it is difficult to develop new types of competition. But yeah, we could find soon, and it's something like a miracle. And we are now supporting them, and yeah, soon is some very early stage, and yeah. Sorry, yeah, but we are now managed to support to them, and yeah, sorry, that's all of my question, my answer in the current stage.
Thank you, Hiro. Thank you. I would like to also open the floor to questions from our physical audience here. Are there any questions that you have to our prize partners to learn more about what they are offering, how to work with them? I don't see any hands. So my last question, maybe to quickly sum it up for all of you, why should a participant apply to each of your prizes and not to the other one that is on stage and online?
That's interesting you're saying, because that's the opposite which I normally recommend. Because in the end, it's about the participant, it's not about us. So if a participant feels better that that prize from a region is helping him further, then he or she should apply for that prize.
A very diplomatic answer, Martijn. Thomas, are you joining Martijn on this answer, or would you rather say that they should apply to Austria?
Well, basically, I think you're totally right. And if you look to all the prizes which are offered by the regional partners, then I think all of them are very attractive. Of course, sometimes it's better if you apply for a prize if you're somehow located in this country, or if you have some connection, especially if it's a business incubation, for example, which could be used as part of the package. And for us, Austria, I can just say, so we are working with our partners as it comes, because it's depending from the maturity, I think, of the idea, and also maturity of the team, what you can do with them. For example, the prize winner of last year, he has applied now for our national program for a feasibility study, and that's a very good next step, I think, for them. For others, maybe, which are a bit more far away from maturity, it might be better to go to an incubation center like we have with ISABIC in Austria, the business incubation center. And of course, we will try to guide them to this opportunity. So we try to find customized solutions somehow.
Thank you very much. Hiro, why should you apply? Why should a participant apply to the Japanese prize?
Well, yeah, there are some reasons. So maybe they would like to connect with European industry, and maybe Copernicus Masters could be a very good trigger of connecting with Europe. And they have some difficulties of monetization because, as I mentioned before, the space market is mainly composed of the government demand. And private sector is, in the future, very good customers, but in current stage, growth is not enough. Therefore, they would like to go to Europe, and maybe Copernicus Masters is a very good chance for promotion of their solution.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm actually quite happy that we have you on board as a prize partner, not only last year, but again this year, because we are somehow bridging the ocean or the gap to the other side of the world. And so we have seen in the past years that there are a lot of participants coming from Asia, actually, and therefore with the Japanese prize, I guess we have a wonderful opportunity for those to work directly with our Japanese partners to develop their solution further. So I'd like to thank the three of you, so virtually and physically here next to me, and ask you to take your seat back in the audience and at home, hopefully now in bed, Hiro. I think we all wish you a very good night, and thanks again for joining. So yeah, the next panel that we will have on stage is kind of linked to the gentleman that we have heard. So it will actually be some of our prize winners coming up on stage now to first of all present their solution with which they have won in the last year. So we are going back to 2021, and then we will also hear from them a little bit, have the opportunity to ask them questions on their solution, but also on the participation in the Copernicus Masters and what made them successful, basically. How did they win the Copernicus Masters Challenge or prize? So the first one that I would like to invite up on stage is actually the winner of Austria from last year, so Beetle for Tech. Kwame, where are you? Yes, I see you, perfect. Please come up on stage and tell us a little bit more about Beetle for Tech.
Yeah, thank you, Ines. Good afternoon. My name is Kwame Kwaku, and I'm very glad to present and represent Beetle Forest Technologies to you today. So we are developing wood traceability solutions. According to Interpol, up to 30% of the wood that is traded globally is of illegal origin. So there's a difference between regions in the world. In Austria, for instance, the amount goes from 5 to 15% of the wood that is imported is said to be illegal, and with this, comes it's a major problem, needless to say. So the wood industry is a global venture. So especially Austrian companies in the wood sector are very successful in Europe and abroad of the continent. And at the same time, there are illegal law enforcement and regulations, for instance, in Europe, the European Timber Regulation or the US Lacey Act that oblige companies that import wood to prove the legality of the products. But so far, there are no tools that can prove where wood is from in a forgery-proof way. And the law will even get more strict, as with the European deforestation regulation, the product range is broadened. So other products that are connected with deforestation, like soybean or palm oil, will also be, there will be a due diligence when you import these products. So it all started with a due diligence platform that we are developing, so which helps companies to make a risk assessment and to see how big is the risk of illegal provenience. And when we went with this with the first prototypes to customers, it wasn't far-reaching enough, so we developed a wood marking device that brands trunks directly after the harvest. So the technology is right now on a patent application in Austria, and we connected this to a forest monitoring system to compare imagery of the felling site before and after the selling to validate the location of the trunk. And with this, of course, then the ultimate goal is to allow end consumers to, with a product tag, to locate the trees of their products, of which trees they were constructed. So coming to the business model, the due diligence platform will be with a monthly fee, and there are acquisition costs for the tagger and the scanner at the transformation site where the trunks are transformed. So the forest monitoring will be at a cost per surface, and the cash cow will be the platform behind, because for each tree, there will be, for each legality license, there will be a minimal cost for the industry. So that's the founding team. We are based in Austria and in Germany, in Hamburg. So we were really glad to win both the Austrian Galileo Masters and the Austrian Copernicus Masters. It was the first company who won both prizes in the same year. We are funded by the FFG, by the Ministry of Climate Action, and our advisory board is with the Thünen Institute, especially the Holzkompetenzzentrum Holzherkünfte. It's the most renowned institute when it comes to determining species and provenience. And a partner of ours is Ioneum Research, who might be familiar to some of you here too. So we will develop our systems, and there are different research projects that will start hopefully by this year, and then at the beginning of next year there's a major test field for the tracing devices, and the full market rollout is planned for the end of next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Kwame. I will give you the microphone for later. Thanks a lot. So our next speaker is, our next winner is actually a lady. So Candela Sanchez Garcia, she will come up on stage and present her idea with which she has won. And I'm happy to have another woman on stage in this panel now. So please let us welcome her and hear what she has to tell us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you. So my name is Candela Sancho, and I'm the CEO of Detectia. And what we do is we monitor infrastructure from the space. So we found that the lack of preventive maintenance and early detection of failures generate large economic and personal losses. We all remember the collapse of the Morandi Bridge in Italy, 2018, or the rupture of the Brumadillo Dam in Brazil, 2019, the Miami condo building last year. So we know it's something that is happening because it's not feasible to monitor all urban and non-urban assets with traditional systems that require ground instrumentation. So new monitoring tools are needed. In Detectia, we have developed iRadar. It's an infrastructure monitoring tool that generates early warnings on infrastructure deformation based on the latest radar satellite technologies and artificial intelligence. And these early warnings are easily integrated into any stage of the infrastructure lifecycle. I guess you all are familiar with the INSAR technology, with radar technologies, but I can tell you it measured movements of deformation with millimeter accuracy, no need of ground instrumentation, being able to make historical studies of the behavior of the infrastructure of the ground for the past 25 years. So we've talked with infrastructure managers, and they are not interested in having a lot of data. So they are not interested if you give them a lot of data when things are behaving, let's say, normal. They want to know, and really fast, when something is not behaving as usual, when there is an anomaly, they really want to know. So we have found that the more we reuse the data that we transfer to the client, the higher the value we provide. So how does radar work? But it's based on automatized cloud computing, the processing of very large areas without the need for ground instrumentation, and easily integrated into any geographic information system, building information models, or digital twin. Our target market is the smart infrastructure sector that is experiencing the revolution of digitalization. The benefits of iRadar and to have a efficient preventive maintenance increase the safety and the resilience of the assets, and reducing the running costs. With one client, we have estimated a 40 6% of savings compared to having only in situ instrumentation during the maintenance phase of an infrastructure during the entire life of the infrastructure life cycle, tender, design, construction, and maintenance. Our business model is a SaaS with an annual license, either through our iRadar platform or integrating into the client data system through the API. And we have also developed and recently published structural health indices. So this is an example of our indices about the behavior of each of the infrastructure. Each color represents a different level of warning. So in any update, if we have a change in the color, in the level, there is an alert that is triggered. Well, sorry, this was supposed to be blue, but our main difference with traditional companies that are also experts in radar technology, like we have an artificial intelligence layer, and we work with a SaaS format in the infrastructure sector. Last year, we were not only the winners of this regional prize, Copernicus Masters, but we were also the winners of the European Space Agency Global Space Market Challenge and finalists of the Global Infrastructure Hub that is supported by G20, looking for solutions that increase the resilience of our assets. This is our team. We are a spin-off of the Civil Engineering School in Madrid with more than 35 years of expertise between industry and academia. And this is iRadar, providing early warnings more than data. Thank you.
Thank you, Candela. Thanks, Candela. It's great to have a woman on stage and also see that the teams are quite diverse in terms of female gender equality. So I really appreciate that. Last but not least, there is our winner coming from Galicia, so Pedro. He is coming far from the back, and he will introduce us his idea, St. James Caminito. So he's a double winner in the last year's competition. So he also won the challenge from the European Commission. So please welcome Pedro and let us hear what he has to tell us.
Thanks. Okay, our idea is not as developed as our mates, but we are a team from Galicia that is specialized in space development, especially in CubeSat design. And this idea came from, we recognized the utility of Copernicus and tried to think of something that will be useful. What we found is that one of the main cultural values Europe has is the St. James Way, the Way of St. James. And its infrastructure that is present in most Europe. In fact, here you can see the percentage. Oh, sorry. Okay, thanks. As I was saying, here you can see the percentage of kilometers outside of Spain in Europe. You can see that there is a large part of the infrastructure in other countries like France, Portugal, Germany. In Galicia, the cost associated to the maintenance of this infrastructure is really huge. Just in 2021, the cost was of almost 11 million, and it was during COVID, so in years where there are more tourists going, there are higher costs associated. And there is a huge source of income for the region, because there are people from all over the world coming. The problem we found in the infrastructure is that it is such a large network of roads, paths, that it is really, really difficult to maintain everything. Here you can see that 10% of the infrastructure is well maintained, but most of it has no surveillance at all. So to solve this, we planned to use Copernicus to both observe the vegetation, the infrastructures, and the landslides in the terrain, as well as floodings and similar problems, to detect these issues and warn the mainly the Xunta de Galicia, the regional government, but other governments, so they can spend the maintenance money just in going to the spot and fixing the issue, rather than having to surveil thousands of kilometers of roads and paths. And I don't have much to say. I want to say that we also won another prize, our team, Adagio, a regional prize for Galileo, and I'm really proud of our job, because like 3 prizes in a year is such a great. I have to explain this. We are a small team, we are new, and getting so far in so little time is a great success for us. So thank you.
Thank you, Pedro. Please. Yes. So, Pedro, as you said, you are a small team, and you're right at the start. How did you come up with such an idea? Did you walk the path on your own and then thought about it, or what's the story behind?
For us, we were thinking about problems for Copernicus. What can we solve with Copernicus? And we spent a month going through ideas. And after all the ideas, in the last couple of days of brainstorming, we just thought, we are thinking about abroad, we are thinking about general issues, but what makes our idea unique is that we had to think about what is around us. Mm-hmm. And around us was the Way of St. James. It's close to us. It's something we know closely, so we can address the issues from the Way of St. James better than something on the other side of the world. And we have more expertise from people that know how the maintenance of that infrastructure works and how the surveillance works. Mm-hmm. And we can have really close contact with the regional government.
Thank you very much. Would you hand over the microphone to Candela, because I also want to know how you came up with that idea and which came first, because now it seems like, at least for Pedro, that maybe the Copernicus Masters came first before the idea actually came, but Candela.
Yeah, for us the idea came with one of the challenges in 2019. Mm-hmm. That we didn't make it through, but it was like the basis for the start of the company, and now it's true that this year there was a challenge that really fit what we were doing in the company, so we just adapted a bit to participate in the challenge, but in our case the company was already established, mm-hmm. and we already have some clients when we joined the challenge.
So you already knew about the Copernicus Masters for a little bit longer, and you knew that your idea could fit, and decided to hopefully get a challenge that would fit to your idea?
Yeah, that's correct.
Perfect. So what you also see here, and I would like to point that out, is specifically that Copernicus Masters is already well known, and even if you apply and you do not win, you can reapply and you can win at a later stage. So please keep that in mind when applying. And when not succeeding in the first time, you can at least succeed in a second or third row then. Kwame, now back to you. How was the story behind Beetle for Tech? How did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, we were aware of the problem of illegal logging. So I have a background in wood engineering, and 2 of my co-founders too. And the thing is that the documentation is really based on paper and pencil. So market participants have really a difficulty to validate origin information from the chains before in the supply chain, and we were convinced that technology can solve this problem, and then the solution grew from we connected the dots, so to say. So there were software solution, and then the marking and the remote sensing, and the masters were the Galileo Masters and Copernicus Masters. The competition was brought to us, so we were made aware of that challenge by the ecosystem where we're in. Yeah. So that's to apply.
How was your experience when applying? So do you think it's difficult? Would you encourage people to apply? Specifically referring also to the online database that we have, any tips and tricks that you do have for potential new participants?
Applying wasn't so difficult. It was you have to portray your idea in a good way, but the support is very good when there are some questions at the local side and from the partners. And I would encourage everyone who thinks that this could be something, a match to apply, of course.
Well, we have heard from, I would say, all of you that specifically Copernicus Masters was only one milestone in your steps that you are taking. And Peter, you mentioned you have several other prizes, and Candela, you as well, in the same year of Copernicus Masters. So specifically, is Copernicus Masters like a first step, or in a way of saying like one of the challenges or one of the prizes that you have to win to like come out to the world? How do you see that? Maybe Candela, you would like to start.
Yeah, for us it was clear that at the moment we have some clients, we wanted to get more. Now we are in South America, North America, and Europe, so we wanted to go further and get more clients. So we are looking for a nice way, an affordable way for a startup to gain visibility. So for us, it was clear we needed to try the Copernicus Masters. And when you look at the analytics of our websites, all the peaks really correlate with all the announcements and all the social network campaigns that are related to Copernicus Masters. So for us, it works like really, really well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Pedro, your answer.
For us, there are two different approaches for the Galileo winner idea. Adagio, it is something we are more advanced. We are already working on a first prototype that is going to go to space in a pocket cube in the next 1 or 2 years. And we are starting to work on a prototype that is going to be a secondary mission in a CubeSat we are making that is going to be launched hopefully in 2024 or early 2025. So that idea is much more advanced. For Caminito, we are now in talks with the university because there are already in the University of Vigo, where we started, there are some projects that are similar. So in that regards, Adagio was another step in our progress, the Galileo Prize. For Caminito, it was the first step, it was the start, and we are hopefully going to have a far way ahead of us.
Perfect. So it seems that Copernicus Masters can be both, I would say. Are there any questions from our physical audience? I don't see any hands. Okay. Well, in that case, I thank you very much and bring you back to your seats. But actually, we have a little break now. So this session, the Copernicus Masters kickoff is finished. So I would like to thank specifically also our digital virtual audience out there. And because we're now having like a little coffee break, so enjoying a few talks here again. And obviously, if you still have questions to the partners, the winners that you have seen on stage, please feel free to address them during the coffee break. And then we resume here at 4:30 for our next session. Thanks again and see you later.